The one thing that I never took for granted was having the ability to reach out and communicate to others who have been successful and have been doing it. I took the approach of making sure that I surrounded myself with those individuals that were doing what it is that I wanted to do.
Get right into this because we're going to talk about something we call the blueprint, strategies to building a successful real estate business. And in 2016, Rudy and I sat down together. His business was growing. My business was growing. At that year, I had elected to open up my own brokerage. And Rudy and I sat in my tiny office in my brokerage and decided to do this because we saw that many agents were kind of out there doing their thing, but nobody really had a strategy. Nobody was sticking to a strategy, and I could see Rudy's growth and I could see his strategy, and I knew I was doing what I had to do to grow the business. And so we put this book together. It's a very simple read. It's available on Amazon. But here's some good news. If you're on this webinar with me and you registered, right? That means that you actually gave me your name and email address. We're going to forward you a free copy of the book, okay? If you are watching this right now and you want to get in tune with things that we are consistently doing on a weekly basis, I want you to text the word Enterprise One, the number one, Enterprise One to 33222. And when we do special things like this and have great co-hosts like Rudy Hernandez on the line with us, you'll be in tune with what we're doing. Again, text the word Enterprise One to 33222. Now, let me introduce my guest, president of New World Title and New You Wellness, and co-author of The Blueprint, Rudy Hernandez. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks, Dave.
I'm honored to do this with you. And we always talk about doing a lot of stuff, but we really don't. We like do separate stuff, or I do things with your team, but stuff like that. So it's really cool. Like, you know, a few times a year, me and you actually get together, do a really cool presentation for everybody. So if you could just tell everybody a little bit about you, and so that way we get a foundation for the blueprint. Well,
I'm absolutely humbled. I know that not many people know of me, but they don't really know me, and that's on me. I've got to start taking I got to start taking better advantage of the platforms that are allowed, and so I'm humbled to be a part of this here today. I'm hoping that I can make some sort of impact and maybe some sort of mentality change in anyone's career advancement or life as we continue on this journey today. But I'm just a regular guy. I'm misunderstood. I can tell you that much. But for me, I come in. I wake up every single day with a goal in mind and with a plan. And if I don't execute it by day's end, I'm beating the heck out of myself to find out and figure out why I wasn't able to execute the goal that I had in mind. So I take a different approach. I don't take yearly goals. I don't do monthly goals. I do a day-by-day goal, and I set my schedule way in advance, about a week before for the following week, to ensure that I've got everything in line and everything in place that needs to be done to get to those goals and to meet them. But as far as I go, I've owned New World Title for about 12 years now, and I owe all the success to the team that we have on our side, from the operations to the salespeople to the administrative people. They get all the credit. I do nothing. I just had a vision and I put it in place. But without the people, we're nothing. So I give them all the credit and the kudos. Other than that, Dave, I just live my life. Family man, two kids, beautiful wife, and I'm just ready to continue to dominate this industry as best as I possibly could. by doing the right thing and treating people with a ton of respect.
I love your introduction because some of the things we're going to talk about today is exactly that. And as those of you watching today, what you're finding is that Rudy naturally introduces himself by letting you know that he has goals in place, that he's got a great family, that he's got a business, and that he gives kudos to his team. And I don't know if many of you picked up on all of that, but it goes to show the people that we bring in front of you and people like Rudy who are coming with value. The first thing he says is, I hope to make an impact on somebody's life today. So I hope that you guys are going to enjoy today because we're going to go like rapid fire through a bunch of these things. I got to change this photo, right? I don't really look like this anymore. My beard's growing out a little more. I lost a few more hairs, but it's all good, bro. I'm still looking thin like that though, because I'm a new you customer. But
come to new you. We can do something about the hair. We can do something about the beard. We can do anything. Anti-aging at its finest.
I don't think you guys can do anything about all this for me, bro.
All right, we can do it. We can do it.
So, bringing value to you all the time. So we're going to get right into this. This is going to be kind of rapid fire because we wrote an entire book on this, right? And it was a lot of fun doing that, by the way. And it's published. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if you know this, Rudy, but every once in a while, I Google the book that we did, you know, and I try to see like where it's available and stuff because we originally became Amazon published. It turns out that we're available in barnesandnoble.com, books.com, all kinds of other book purchasing websites. And I think they all kind of go through Amazon to get the book. But the point is that it's kind of expanded out, which means that maybe it's brought some attention or et cetera, and hopefully change somebody's life along the way. You know, I remember when we started growing the Kurz brokerage and the brand, we just give a copy to everybody that came through the door, like here, read this. You need to read this. So one of the first things that we talked about in the book was the beginning. It's been done before, right? And we talked about how we need to start paying attention. Like everybody comes into this business to be a millionaire, and then they try to reinvent the wheel, right? And so I feel like there are plenty of clues to success, meaning there are plenty of people that have done it before us. So tell me a little bit about how you have looked at bigger companies in New World and bigger CEOs in you and said, through your growth process from the day that you were in a closet-sized office to doing 3,000 plus closings last year.
Well, and that's a wonderful question. The one thing that I never took for granted was having the ability to reach out and communicate to others who have been successful and have been doing it. I took the approach of making sure that I surrounded myself with those individuals that were doing what it is that I wanted to be done. And I kind of took a little bit from every single other title company around me that I thought to be somewhat successful, that I thought to be an admirable company with core values. And I kind of created, the New World thing. And again, I must say, I have to defer to the fact that having the right people beside me helped that process become what it is today. And we aren't perfect. We live in an imperfect society, and we're imperfect people. But if we strive for perfection, more often than not, you'll start thinking about things and realizing that everything's coming together better than what you had anticipated originally. So I think that's where it started. It was groundbreaking for me to associate myself with many other individuals in the industry that I wouldn't say I looked up to, but that I thought were on the right path to success, or at least having the success that I wanted at the moment. And that's where it started.
So what we're talking about is basic mentorship without saying this is my mentor, right? This is, I mean, look, in the real estate industry, and there's a lot of real estate agents on here that are logged in looking at this and going, okay, that's cool. What about real estate? Ladies and gentlemen, how many realtors do you need to see become successful before you actually pick up the phone and call one of them and say, hey, what did you do? How did you do it? Can I buy you a cup of coffee? Can I buy you lunch? Like that'll be that $50 that you'll spend on lunch with a top producing agent be the best investment you ever made in your career, right? And being able to pick their brains, look at the agents that you see way ahead of you that you feel, and again, like Rudy said, it doesn't necessarily be like somebody you look up to. It just needs to be somebody that you see doing the right thing and succeeding, and you think to yourself, if I can get one nugget from this person, I'm going to fire up.
Well,
Right?
Dave, I don't mean to interject you really quick though. You have a great deal of admiration for a gentleman named Riley Smith, right? I think a lot of people know who Riley Smith is.
Yeah.
Does a ton of business.
Yeah.
You yourself
I love Riley to death.
You weren't shy to pick up the phone and actually call Riley and introduce yourself and say, "Hey, Riley, can I have a cup of coffee?" Yes or no?
And even to date, Riley and I have so much respect for each other through the growth process. I had no problem buying him a cup of coffee. I know where he eats breakfast every morning. He's not shy about it. He lets you know where he is. So I know where to find him. You know, and if I say, "Yo, I'll pick up your tab for you. If I can sit with you for breakfast, pick your brain," that's amazing. We've gone, we every time we get together, we pass back and forth. Now, thankfully, I'm in a position where I could actually pass some information back. I could give a reach around, right? I had no problem reaching out to him. And even to date, I was invited to his yearly conference. He was invited to mine. You know, we get on stages together. We pass a lot of information across. And I think those things are phenomenal relationships. Riley and I may never be in the same company, right? I don't know what the future, but we may never, ever end up in the same company. We may never, ever end up working together as a team. But the fact that we can get together and translate information to each other, it's huge. And again, Riley has people that he reached out to when he was growing, and he'll tell you those stories, right? And this is 15 years ago. And people think it's an overnight thing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been done before. Pay attention to the clues of success. We're going to jump on to the next one. Lead flow. Where does it come from? So now you and I, Rudy, are different, because it's funny that you started in your introduction and you said, a lot of people know of me, but they don't know me. And I got to do a better job of using the tools. And what's funny is, I'm going to go back on this presentation, right? Here's a picture of me with my name and my title. No picture of you. You know why? Because I Googled Rudy Hernandez, New World title. I couldn't find a decent photo of you, right? So I just went with the logo. And that goes, and then I started thinking, I said, man, I'm going to bring this up, because as successful as you are, and as much as people are talking about how important social media is to business today, right? And not to take away from the fact that your entire team is great on social media, but you yourself, right?
Horrible at it.
You're horrible at it, right? Like,
horrible.
You don't care for it. You know, you're not someone who's on Facebook checking everybody's shit. Like, you don't care for it. So what, and this is rudimentary, man. I want to take it back. Like, where did your lead flow come from?
So I'm old school. I like to consider myself to be old school. It's been an adjustment period for me to start taking a look at social media from that point of view, from that vantage point of how it brings business to the table. Now, don't get me wrong. We've obviously adapted. And when I say we, I mean the organization. Me personally, you know, as crazy as this sounds, I've always been brought up to kind of keep a low profile, put everybody in the front, stay in the back, and kind of, you know, maneuver the situation to the liking that I needed to be maneuvered to. I'm not big on me. I never have been. And again, maybe that's a fault of mine. Maybe it's something that I need to really, truly improve on. Maybe I need to take advantage of these platforms that allow me to impact other people's lives. The team that I have on my side now really, truly understand me. We have one-on-ones. We have team meetings. They get to see me at my finest, if you will. But yeah, it's something I go back to the old school roots of doing business. I personally market myself now. I originate. And when I mean originate, I mean I prospect business. And how do I do it? I don't do it through social media. I typically go and knock on doors. And I wake up about 3 times a week, and I actually take a geographical area in South Florida, and I say I'm going to target, let's just say, Miami Gardens, or I'm going to target Palmetto Bay, or I'm going to target Coral Gables. And I legitimately go, typically on my own or with one of my associates as I train, and I knock on doors. I'm old school. The social media thing I really haven't caught up to yet. And it's for a variety of reasons. But nothing too important to kind of discuss right now. I just kind of.
I think you and I are similar in that sense. We're not afraid to knock on doors, except for
Yeah.
I'm opposite of what you are. You're private and you keep your stuff private.
Yeah, I try.
Like I am out there. Like I really truly believe the more exposure I give myself, my team, and my business, the better we'll do. Right. And so, and not one is not wrong and one is not right. One of the biggest things for me is being able to let everyone that's watching this know that you cannot be afraid to have a conversation. We're in a world today where people think they're going to get business by posting on social media and sending a DM. It's not the way it works, right? Can it work? Maybe. If you do it at scale. If you send 1,000 DMs, maybe you're going to get one or two people that say, sure, I'd like to buy or sell a house. But I promise you, if you get out there and you knock on doors, meet people, connect with people, bring human to humanity, right? Like, I think that is a world of a difference. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Rudy Hernandez, who owns this and owns that, New World title and 3,000 plus closings last year, just told you that he still prospects, that he still picks a geographical area. He doesn't look at his team on a Monday morning and say, okay, team, you got this area, you got that area, you got that area, you got that area, go, and then stand back and watch. No, he does that. Plus, he goes out and meets people and shakes hands and kisses babies and whatever he has to do to get people to want to work with New World Title. Give me a shot. And if I remember the conversation we had, by the way, Rudy, at the Douglas Elliman office in Brickell, we sat down and you said, Dave, give me a shot. If you don't like me, you don't like me. If you love me, then, you know, great, we'll work together. And here we are 6 years later.
Yeah, roughly.
And we're still working together, which is phenomenal, you know, and there's not a lot of business third-party partnerships that you can say that go on this long, right? People are flaky, right? So, and I think letting you know that whether you're a brand new agent in the business or you're a average agent or you're an above average agent or you're like, you know, the freaking Tom Cruise of real estate, like it doesn't matter what position of your career you're in. It's still important for you to go out and network. Yes, the person that you connect with may change or it may be different as you grow in your career. Yes, as you grow in your career, you might add team members to your team and your team needs to be responsible to do the same thing. But if you do not show as a leader, if you do not show how to get it done, no one's going to do it for you. And that's a real big thing. So lead flow, where's it come from? You just heard two different aspects right now. I'm huge on social media. I have 300 plus YouTube videos. I have almost 200 podcasts. Like, you know, I'm pushing all the time. Rudy doesn't do any of that crap. Rudy goes out and shakes your hand. And he's got a great team. Now, don't take away social media from New World Title because they're out there. They've got a great team and they're out there consistently on social media. They're doing trainings, they're doing classes there. But check it out.
And Dave, I want to make sure that the audience understands that it's all relative. I go out and I knock on real estate agents' doors, mortgage companies' doors. You have the ability as a real estate agent to knock on anyone's door and actually come into communication and contact with anybody at any time, whether it's at the gas station, at Publix, at the movie theater. It's all relative. Knocking on doors, and again, quote unquote, knocking on doors, it's all relative. Agents have the same ability to do it. It's just a different target audience. It's a direct consumer audience. So I don't want to mix those messages. So, yeah, obviously I have a different target audience.
Everybody has a different target audience, right? Your target audience, like you said, is real estate professionals, realtors, and mortgage brokers. But real estate agents, everyone is our target audience. Shit,
everyone.
You're my target audience. Do you live
absolutely?
In a house? You live in a house, right?
Absolutely.
You know so it just anyone that we walk up to or talk to or whatever. But the fear is this person's gonna tell me no, or this person's gonna tell me stop knocking on their door, or this. You know what I'm saying? Like when people tell me I'm afraid of rejection, I'm like, dude, are you dating right now? How'd you get there?
Well, listen, I got something to say that may piss you off, Dave. So not many people knew that I was candidly possibly thinking about getting on the market to purchase a new home and sell my current home. And, you know, I know I know a lot of real estate agents that can help me, but no one in particular actually ever approached to see if I was in the market or not. This just happened a week ago. I went to a Botanico event, and I'm sitting there, and I was like, you know, I was considering actually selling my home. Lo and behold, it's just that one agent that I don't even have a relationship with who striked the conversation with me about real estate and about possibly upgrading my home. And they're most likely going to have my business. And it was just a matter of having those constant conversations every time you possibly can with an individual, whether they're in the industry or not, to kind of gauge where they are in their life.
Now, I want people to take something away from this, because I'm going to go back and say that almost a year ago, I did speak to you about an upgrade and sent you some houses in a different.
Probably did, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't ready at the time.
And we talked about the price difference and everything else, and I sent you some things to look at. And you said I wasn't ready.
Right.
Now, here we are, fast forward a year later, some stranger that I have no relationship with walks up to my friend, my business partner, and attracts their business. Whose fault is that, mine or yours?
It's your fault.
It's my fault. 1,000% is my fault. Right?
Where's the follow-up?
And then there's the assumption, right? The assumption is that I will, why do I approach Rudy Hernandez? And Rudy Hernandez knows every real estate agent in the entire Tri-County area, plus Orlando, plus Tallahassee, plus all these other places, right? And so, you know, Rudy's got a pick of the litter. He's probably going to go by himself to open houses, because not to piss anybody off. So
assume and you're doomed.
Right.
Assumptions will kill you.
Right. So there's a chat, but I can't see it. Sorry, guys. So we'll get into that. All right. The delusion. This is real life, not TV. Now, this is horrible for me to say, because I'm you know, I'm a bit all about the camera, maybe. And we've got shows that we're putting out and everything else. Vita says, everyone is a human contact, 100%. It helps me gain live client relationships. Totally agree. All right, so that's great information, right? The delusion is that people are watching TV, they're watching $1 Million Listing and Bravo and Netflix and Sunset and all these other things, and they think, I'm gonna go get my real estate license and I'm gonna make it big, right? How many times have you heard this, Rudy?
Oh man, way too many, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
And it's consistent. So what we want people to know, why this is up here, why we want you to get this delusion out of your head, is because if you intend to listen, I'm going to tell you right now, since January 1st this year, at least 4 people that I've attracted to join us in our team have told me, I got my license so I could purchase my own house. I want you to think about that for a minute. Who failed these people so badly that they decided not to hire anyone? They went to school themselves, took the state exam themselves, so they could buy their own house on their own with zero experience.
That's
right. And so now these folks are like, okay, I bought my own house. Now what? So what we want to tell you is that this is going to take massive amounts of consistency, and you're going to have to push hard. Now, getting past friends and family. Rudy, back in the day, everybody tells new agents, sphere of influence. Contact your sphere of influence. Contact your sphere of influence. Grab your phone. I tell people all the time, it's part of my coaching program. Go to your phone, see how many contacts you have. Scroll all the way to the bottom of your contacts. It tells you how many contacts you have. Take away 50% of people that are out of town, in the same business as you, other realtors, blah, blah, blah. And then the other 50% is your database, right? Call those people and find out if they need a house. And guaranteed you're gonna get somebody, whether it's them or somebody they know. So I tell them this all the time, but then what happens when you exhaust this? How do you get past your sphere of influence? How do you get past your family and friends?
Well, I don't think you can ever get past your family and friends, Dave. We just made an example of it because you and I are friends, and candidly, you mentioned to me about me and my journey of finding another property, and eventually over time, it's something that I wanted to do. So I wanted to refer to something that I recently came about, because I'm way behind when it comes to technology. But for my med spa, I have an individual who's sales funneling and lead generating direct consumers through Facebook ads. But he mentioned to me about this text message technology that's available that will go through your sphere of influence, or you can kind of like spreadsheet it and say, all right, these are the people that I want to stay in constant contact with. There's also the constant contact feature. Those things. So I think the sphere of influence should always be on the top of the list. It's just about constant communication. I think it needs to be an every month type of deal, whether it's a text message, email, or any other type of communication with your entire sphere of influence, because they may not be ready like I wasn't last year, but at one point they'll be ready to sell or buy, and that's guaranteed. So if you stay in constant communication, it does several things. You stay in their face, so obviously they remember you. It builds your brand without you actually having to work to build your brand, because they have people that they know as well. And imagine that. So you've got 50 or 100 people on your contact list. Those 50 and 100 people know how many other people? And those people ask them, hey, do you have a good real estate agent? So I think inevitably, I think, David, I know you're going to go expansion through other approaches, and we're going to get there. But I just wanted to make it a point to make sure that sphere of influence, those phone numbers on your telephone, need to be something that you kind of nurture. And I encourage you all to continue to stay close to them and look into that technology, the text message technology, because I think it's phenomenal.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about expansions through other approaches, but Rudy hit on something that we hit on last week and probably the week before, where we talked about dealing with your power circle, the people right around you. If the people in your power circle are not referring you business, it's your fault because you didn't ask for it. It's really that simple, right? And so today we could talk about, yes, you could never, ever, ever stop contacting your friends and family, but there will be a point in the growth of every business that you will get past that point. In the growth of every business, you have clients today, Rudy, that you don't know personally. Can we agree to that?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So you're going to get to the point, God bless everybody, you get to the point where you have kind of you're at that plateau. Now you got to break this glass ceiling and you got to get through it. And so how do we start attracting people we don't know? That could be through your family and friends, through your sphere of influence. Like you said, those 50 people know 50 people, right? I'm a big power 8 kind of guy. I believe that everyone in the world has 8 people that they love and trust, right? Those 8 people have 8 people too, because your 8 people are not, like my 8 people are not your 8 people. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Are you a part of my 8? Absolutely. You're welcome, by the way. But you know what I'm saying? And now we're all together, and now maybe you buy a house with me, you have a great experience, and you tell your power 8, damn, that was a really great experience, use my guy, right? And so I think expansion through other approaches is simple. Constant contact is one that we just talked about right now. Text message technology, those come with just about every CRM on the planet. So I don't care what CRM you're using. We have experience with Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Chime. I could keep going through all the different CRMs we've used. Follow Up Boss. You name it, we've used it. And all of those have text message technology. So for us as real estate professionals, your sphere of influence, your family and friends, and everyone else that you lead generate needs to be in these CRMs, and it needs to be automated. Like Rudy said, these people need to be touched at least once a month, right? So how are you touching these people consistently? There are a couple ways. You can go old school, put in your calendar. Today, I'm reaching out to everybody I know. Or you can go new school and put it on automation, where every month they get a message from you that you've planned out for the next 24 months. And automatically they're getting a message from you. I'm on full automation. There's no way in the world. I think we have 6,000, 7,000 leads in our system. I can't sit down one day and call all those people. But they're all on massive drip campaigns. Now, you know me, Rudy, I'm a lunatic. So I don't, my people are not getting hit once a month. They're getting hit like once a day, right?
It should be.
Because I want you to remember what I do for a living. If you don't remember what I do for a living, it's my fault. If I don't approach you and let you know that I am here to help you with the purchase of your home or the sale of your home, it's my fault. You know? All right, moving on. Confidence. So Rudy, you really touched hard on this in our book. Where does it really come from? I believe confidence comes from knowledge, right? And personally, and when we're talking about business, if you know your business better than the next guy, there's a level of confidence you feel in a conversation. And I bring this up because I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, I ended up being invited to an officer's, I can't remember what it was, but it was a gathering of officers. If you're an officer in the Marine Corps, you're a college graduate, right? I was not a college graduate at the time. At the time, I think I was a corporal or a lance corporal. And I was invited for whatever reason. I had won an award. I was invited, blah, blah. And there was a conversation happening around me. And I could not speak on the conversation because I had no freaking idea what they were talking about. The conversation was so over me that I could not participate in any way whatsoever. And I remember walking away from that conversation thinking to myself, I will never, ever, ever be in that situation again. So I went to school, I got a bachelor's, I got a master's, I did all that stuff. But now I study my craft, like I study real estate, so that there's no one out there that can tell me any different than what we do. I speak to people like you on a constant basis so that I can absorb as much knowledge as possible, so that this afternoon when I jump in my car and I head up to Pembroke Pines to a listing appointment I have up there this afternoon, no one that walks in that door is gonna know that area, that house, that community, or anything better than I do. That's where I feel confidence in business comes from. Rudy,
I would agree. I would agree. I also, my confidence stems from my successes. So I think everyone on this chat or this Zoom call would and again, maybe I'm wrong. I would assume that everyone here has closed their first deal or at least one deal. I could be right. I could be wrong. Probably the majority of you all on this Zoom call would have closed at least one transaction. I think that initial transaction, once it closes, should give you a boost of confidence and everything after. And I've always used those things to get me more confident. It's almost like making a jump shot in a game, in a basketball game. The first shot you make, or when you see it go through the hoop, your confidence starts to increase. And so I've always looked at it that way. But I would agree with you, Dave. Knowledge is power.
And you get that empowerment. This is stages, right? Knowledge, power, speak to someone, sell their house. That's a success. Now you feel more confident in that area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Celebrate the small victories always. Never take anything for granted, whether it's a listing appointment and whether you got the listing or not, you at least got the appointment. That's a victory that needs to be celebrated because you got that far. Whether it converted or not, you take that and you learn from it so that you do the right thing the next time. And again, I preach this to my people all the time. Doing the same thing every single day, meaning you wake up and you're kind of monotonous in your ways of going about it and expecting different results is insanity. Things have to be switched up, guys. I would highly recommend trying every single thing, seeing what works for you, getting consistent with that. But then when it's time to elevate and do more, because I'm assuming everybody's on this call because they want more. And that's hey, listen, that's step number one. Acknowledging that you want to improve and you want more out of your life is step number one. So kudos to you all. Congratulations for just even being on this call. You'd be surprised how many people will look at this and say, nah, I don't need any more knowledge. But yet they're stuck in the same place and they're probably kicking themselves in the butt wondering why. It's because you've got to try different things. This is a different thing. Getting on a call and listening to me and Dave, who are no better than you guys, by the way, is a different thing. It's trying something new. It's kind of breaking away from what you're accustomed to doing every single day. So kudos to you guys. But I just wanted to say that, expecting different results and doing the same thing is complete insanity. It really is. you're not going to get anywhere. Try something different all the time. Go ahead, Dave.
Be everywhere all the time. I'm big about that. You guys are big about that. Something in your book that I don't know if you remember, but there was a part of the book where you told the story on how you went to the top of Dolphin Stadium, I think it was.
Yes.
And you took like 1,000 business cards and you threw them out. And you don't know if you brought your business or not, but guess what? There were about 1,000 people under you that got hit in the head with a business card, right?
Yes. Yes. And by the way, I want to highly recommend that someone do that. One of these agents on the phone needs to go to a Dolphins game or a baseball game, get on the top and just throw your business cards out. And it'll be like raining business cards. Trust me, it'll be impactful. Someone's going to recognize you. At least it'll create the brand. And obviously that's a process. That's a step that we're trying to accomplish here when it comes to individual agents. Individual agents need to look at this as their own business. Whether you're under whatever umbrella, EXP, Keller Williams, whatever it is, you are your own business person. It's your own brand. And so kind of doing the not normal, going away from the norm is something that I would highly recommend. And that's obviously one thing that would make you very unique if you went and did that. And not only that, but I would love to see it. I would love someone to record it while it's happening. And I guarantee.
Send it to us. Send us the video. We want to see it.
Yes, send me the video, man. Listen, I even want to put a wager out there to see who has the, cojones to do it. But I think that would be super impactful. And I think it'll make a huge difference. Some way or another, it'll make a difference.
Absolutely. And also it'll give you confidence because I guarantee you that there are a ton of people out there that are extremely nervous to walk to the edge and just throw 1,000 business cards out just to see what happens, right? You are your brand. We talk about that all the time. I mean, it doesn't get more brandful than this right here. Right. And so, being able to know that and being able to market yourself at a very high level. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm in person. I'm on stages. I travel the country. I host a conference. Like, I want you to know who I am, not because I'm vain, but because I have businesses that I want to do with you. Right? I want my business to grow and I want to do it with everyone out there. I want everyone to do business with me. Like, selfishly, deep down in my heart, I want every single real estate agent in the world to work with me. Right? And so that being the case, I'll take 10%. That's okay. The world's agents, no problem. Right? It's just a matter of, if no one knows who I am, then no one's going to know to work with me. It's not whether they like me, hate me, want to be with me, want to hang out with me, or want to work with me. If they don't know who I am, they'll never be able to have that option. Rudy, you guys do a very good thing. Now, I know in the beginning of the conversation or beginning of this webinar, you mentioned that people know of you but don't know you. And I would venture to say that more people know you than you think. Why? Because you guys are not afraid to have events, to sponsor events, to be in front of people, to host open houses, to be involved in the community of real estate.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say this and I was scattered, but I didn't want to go back and forth. The reason why many agents don't get to the success that they probably should get to, because listen, candidly speaking, every agent should be well equipped. They went through a course, they passed the course. That's good enough most of the times. But I tell you what prohibits them from real big top producer success. And it's one thing and one thing only. And you nailed it. It's fear. It's fear. It's fear. The reason why they're not capable, the reason why the Riley Smiths of the world, the Lori Reeders and Plantation of the world, which, by the way, I had a wonderful call with yesterday. I wasn't fearful of it. This is a woman, and Dave, I'm not sure if you know who Lori Reeder is or not.
Lori's the bomb. We've been friends for a long time.
She's a top 3 real estate agent in the entire state of Florida. She commissioned north of $3 million, and I mean commissioned, last year. She's becoming a monster Zillow agent now, and I had to figure out a way on how to get in touch with her. I was fearless. And I got on a 30-minute conversation with her yesterday because she wouldn't take a face-to-face because she really didn't know who I was. She's heard of the company, but she didn't know me and didn't want to waste her time because she's so busy. But she was nice enough to take a call. I figured out a way on how to penetrate her and her organization to at least do that. But you know what? You nailed it. It is fear. It's always going to be fear. The reason why you can't be a Lori Reader or a Riley Smith has nothing to do with the potential that you carry. It's fear and it's work ethic. And it's ultimately desire, how bad you want it. But fear is the number one reason why people don't succeed and do more.
It's very true. And that kind of dials down to a modular level too. So while we have their names, big shout out to Lori Reader, who hopefully will watch this. Lori and I have known each other for 15 years now. And I've seen her grow like wildfire over the last 15 years.
She's insane.
She's insane.
Hey, by the way, Dave, now that we're on that topic, Dave, I'm sorry to interrupt. Now that we're on that topic, please send her a text message and shout me out or put me,
don't worry.
Put me up. Put me down.
And,
all right.
And Lori, big shout out to her for gracing the stage at the Real Talk Conference, the first one we ever did. She supported us. She bought 2 tables. She brought her whole team out, and she took the stage and shared a lot of great information with people. So that's really great. Riley did it for us on year 2. Year 3, we've got crazy surprises coming up, but we'll talk about that plug at the end of this. But again, get the fear out of your head. Moving on to the next thing. Social media, how important is social media? Now, Rudy, we beat this up throughout this entire conversation. However, you said something that I want to kind of learn more about, that I want to know more about, which is you said, I need to learn how to use these mediums better to promote myself. Why is that important to you now, today?
Well, I'm looking for every edge. I'm never just, I'm a different type of animal. I'm a different type of character. And anyone who knows me, who is really close to me, knows I'm never satisfied. And I have every ability to be satisfied with what we've got, what we've done, and what we continue to do. And so I look for anything different. I just mentioned it. Doing the same thing every day and expecting different results is insanity. And so I kind of need to figure out a way on how to be, I'm always evolving and changing. And I think that the social media platform, which is something that I've shied away before in the past, needs to start becoming something normal for me to start doing and figuring it out. And so that's the main reason, Dave, just so that I can evolve and do more business. I mean, ultimately, it is what it is. If we're going to get up every single day anyway, might as well make the best of today and figure out a way on how to dominate and do more. I never understood the satisfied mentality, being satisfied with where you are, being okay with where you are. I just couldn't do it. I don't think I could ever. I don't think I could. I'm built different.
And I'll tell you, everybody's different. And maybe we step away from this. And if you're a real estate agent out there that makes $60,000 a year and you're completely satisfied with that, kudos to you, man. But most people know how to get to your 60, right? That's the most important thing. I've met real estate agents that told me, Dave, all of your training is about becoming a crazy superstar, earning $1 million plus in commission. I don't want to make that because that takes away from XYZ, whatever it is for them.
You see, but I disagree. I want to say something right now.
Yeah.
I think that within the parameters of a daily, like if someone's a family person, which I hope most people are, it's a beautiful thing. I think that you can figure it out. I don't think you need to work 12, 14 hours a day and take away from what it is that you love doing without having elevated success. And those are the things that maybe on another call we can get to, which is goal setting and obviously time management. Would be a great topic that we can maybe spin off on for the next Zoom episode. I don't want to deter too much away from this.
Awesome. All right, next thing. Moving on, the close. If you do not ask, you will not receive. Touch on that, Rudy, because for me, you're the closer.
Again, it goes back to fear, right? If you're fearless and you don't have a problem with going up to someone and striking a conversation. And again, I'm putting my real estate agent hat. I'm not a real estate agent. Candidly speaking, I did pass the test. I never took I went years and years ago before I got into the title business. Not many people know this. I passed the test easily. I think it was the course that is offered by that training school, the famous one. I went there, I did that, and I never went and took the state exam because I think that's the next step because I ventured into something completely different. But I will say this, and I say this humbly. If I was a real estate agent, I would probably be the best real estate agent in Florida, if not very close to it. And so I'm putting my real estate agent hat on now. But it all goes back to asking for business. You're absolutely right. And asking people what their situations are, diving in and creating some sort of relationship. And the relationship word I kind of steer away from a lot because that takes time, right? And if we're on the run and we want to do 10, 15 closings a month, time is limited. And so it's really simple. If you don't ask, you'll not receive. It is what it is. And I'm touching upon it because any individual that I come into contact with at any time in my life, whether it's at a restaurant or at a movie theater or at a drive-through, I'm constantly asking them if they're in the market for real estate. Even though I'm not a real estate agent, I become a real estate concierge of sorts. Because if I can take that lead and hand it off to one of you guys, what happens to my title business?
Of course, it grows.
It grows, right? And so when I'm out on the streets, I'm not a title guy. I am a real estate guy because I know that I can hand the lead off, right? Or the mortgage refinance off, and I get the title work. So I put myself in a kind of a different mentality. But you kind of spoke upon it already, Dave. Ask and don't be afraid. And be fearless to just have conversations with anyone that you're absolutely next to. I was in Disney this weekend with my kids and my wife. And actually on the line, I'd be turning around and saying, hey, what do you do for a living? And we traded conversations like that. So that's just something that needs to start becoming habit. It becomes habitual and you start realizing, hey, I'm just talking to everybody about what it is that I do. And your chances increase dramatically.
And the more you do it, the more people you meet, the more information you get. Information is everything. And so I want to touch on something. For a real estate professional and for a sales professional in general, there are multiple closes throughout any transaction. And I want you to understand this because the close, when people think of the close, they think about sitting at a closing table at New World Title office, signing paperwork and earning a commission check. But there are so many closes that happen before that. For instance, if you have a website and that website does not ask people to register and ask and get information, you're not closing them. You're just giving away information for them to research to go to their cousin, the realtor.
Absolutely.
If that lead registers on your website and they contact you and you don't pick up your phone, it's impossible to close. But let's say you do pick up your phone and you provide them with the information that they requested, but never ever say, when can we sit down and talk? Does Tuesday look good for you? Do you want to go see that house today? If you never do any of those, you're not closing that phone call. All you did was waste 5 minutes on the phone giving away free information once again, right? And then if you do say, let's meet at that house, and you go to the house and you show them the property and never ask them, is this your house? Do you want to place an offer today? You're not closing them then either. You just showed them a house and they went off and found their cousin who has a real estate license and placed an offer on a different one next door.
Yep.
These are the kinds of things that I want you to think about. If you do not ask for the business, you will not receive the business. Hence why I probably won't be Rudy's realtor this year. All right, moving on. Getting started today. What do I have to do today, Rudy? Like today, I'm a real estate agent. I'm listening to this right now. I need to do something. It's the beginning of 2020, and I need to do something with my business, with myself. Just one thing that I could do today.
So much. There's so much. The first thing that I would do is I would treat it like if it was a new year, right? Everyone always has these New Year's resolutions, and probably about this time of the year, we stopped going to the gym. We were on fire. We had all these aspirations. We've had all these things that we wanted to accomplish. I would go back to the drawing board once this call is done, and I would start writing down what it is that you want to accomplish. And I would candidly start writing down what you want to accomplish monetarily, because that's what really it's all about, right? We want to make money. We want to make more of it. So I would write the goal, and I would say, I, every single month, need to make this amount of money and put this amount of money away. I did that at the beginning of the year. As a matter of fact, I've got one of my greatest associates next to me. Her name is Genesis Gonzalez. She's the area manager, recently promoted, wonderful person. I actually had her type it for me. I actually had her type what my goals were going to be, and I took it month by month. And then I knew that I had to break that down to a daily a daily goal to achieve the monthly goal, and the monthly to achieve the yearly. But I'm steering off track. The first thing I would do is I would take a piece of paper and I would write down exactly what your monetary goals are. And then you can write down everything else, whether it's to be a good, better husband and things of that kind of is influenced by one another. But that's the first thing that I would do, Dave, is I would put that up on my closet door or wherever it is that you know you're going to see it every single morning when you wake up. That's the first and only thing that I would do. And then there's a ton of other things, obviously.
There's a ton of other things you could do, but I want everybody to know that what Rudy's telling you right now is imperative. Sit down, put your goals together. But you know what's more important than that, ladies and gentlemen? What I'm about to tell you right now. When you finish that and you walk away from it and you don't do anything about it, then all you did was waste time and it's bullshit. You need to take action on those goals, right? So if you're going to write them down and figure them out, you might want to actually accomplish them. Right? So take action and do what you need to do. Like, I honestly, when people ask me, what can I do today, David? I go, grab your phone, go down the list, call everybody and find out who needs to buy or sell a house. It's really that simple. Like mind blowing. No one does it. Do it. And you know what happens? They get frozen and they never go down the list and they don't accomplish any of it. Right? Very simple task, right? By the way, get in your phone and call everybody you know and ask them if they want to buy or sell a house.
I've got another suggestion, Dave. I got another suggestion. I personally know I'm good friends. Obviously, I try to be friends with every client. But I've got a client who's doing extremely well in her first year of sales. As a matter of fact, she was on my podcast last year. She did I want to say close to 40 transactions, which is pretty good, right, Dave, in a year?
Yeah, that's great. First year.
And it was her first year. And what she did was she said, all right, what's my biggest sphere of influence? Well, her husband's a firefighter. So she niched herself to be that individual to utilize her husband and his following and all the other she became the firefighter realtor. I guarantee that somebody in your sphere of influence is either a teacher or some sort of professional that works for some sort of company, whether it's a car dealership.
Do you know how many houses we sell to veterans? Just simply because I am not shy about saying I'm a United States Marine. Simple.
There you go. There you go. I guarantee you that somebody in your sphere of influence is a government employee, and you can kind of you can nurture that and exploit that as best as you can, whether it's a teacher, whatever it is. Someone who works at a car dealership, get to the top and figure out a program of sorts, be creative. But I think that not many people are niching themselves, and I think that's a good way to start on your path to success, is to find that one individual that can help you get in to the masses for whatever position they're in. I mean, it was brilliant on her part. Listen,
take it to the top.
90% of her closings last year, and again, 40, and it was her first year in real estate, her first full year in real estate. It was crazy. 90% of it was all firefighters.
Rudy, earlier today you asked me to send Lori a message, and send that girl a message, let her know that my team is growing.
I will. I will. Don't forget to send a message to Lori Reader, dude. That's important to me, man.
All right. Next, let's get it. Step 1, figure out your passion. Rudy just talked about that. The firefighter agent. Figure out what your niche and what your passion is.
If your passion isn't real estate, then you shouldn't be in the game.
Get out of it. And please let your license expire so that the rest of us can have a real count of how many agents are out there.
You need to eat, live, breathe real estate. It needs to be a passion. If you're not passionate enough about it right now, go to a psychologist and get passionate. Go to one of those mind
mind gurus. Go to a Tony Robbins event, man.
No, the people that put you in a trance.
Hypnotist.
Go to a hypnotist so they can get you passionate about real estate.
Oh yeah, we had a hypnotist last year at the Realty conference.
There you go.
All right, step 2, the 90-day plan. Rudy touched on this. Sit down, come up with your goals, come up with your plan. What do you want to accomplish? And then put that into perspective. Listen, guys, a 90-day plan doesn't mean in 90 days I want to earn X amount of dollars. The plan, that's the goal. The plan is actually how you get there on a daily basis. So put together a 90-day plan. Step 3, stick to the plan. Actually do what you said you were going to do. Step 4, evaluate the plan, right? Evaluate your plan. So what happens? Many people, here's the thing. People come up with a plan and then they don't execute on the plan. The people who come up with the plan and execute on the plan very rarely look back and evaluate the plan, the execution, right?
Same thing I said, doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Right.
You got to take a look at the plan and see what it's done for you. Has it worked? Has it not worked? Has it worked to your liking? So yeah, I agree.
And once you have evaluated the plan, make adjustments.
Adjust.
Step number 5, adjust. 6, repeat. So with your adjustments, create the next 90 days and repeat it and get it going, ladies and gentlemen. And most importantly, surround yourself with those who inspire you to be great. Rudy talked about that earlier. I talk about it all the time. I'll be very honest with you, Rudy, and I don't say this to I guess, you know, I don't know. But I surround myself with you and people like you because you guys inspire me to be great, right? And so when I see accomplishments and I see you make announcements like to the team the way you did, hey guys, we did over 3,000 closings last year. I look at that and I go, in my brain, the way my brain functions is, well, then next year I need to be responsible for 500 of those, right? And so, and that's, you know, my push and consistently. And so surround yourself with great people who are out there who are doing big things and get away from the shit. Get away from the people that just want to pull you down, hold you down, choke you, not let you breathe, want to tell you that success is not the right method. And I don't care if those people are family. I don't care if they're your best friends. I mean, you know, it doesn't mean you cut family out. It just means that you cut out the conversation when it starts to go to, oh no, that's not possible.
Get away from negativity. If you come across agents, which I encounter the stories all the time because it never happens to me face to face, and you encounter people that feel like they have to say something negative about somebody else without having that person present, you're probably not around the right person, because I guarantee you that the minute they get a chance, they're going to talk about you the same way to somebody else. It's just problematic. And there's a lot of that in this industry, unfortunately. I steer clear of it. People like to talk. People like to spend their time talking about others. I find that to be shameful. I find it to be ridiculous. Don't waste your time. You should be working. You shouldn't be having conversations about other people. And if you find yourself surrounded by those people or those individuals who have nothing nice to say, get away from them. That's the best advice I can give you today would be that.
You have to get to the point where the way your brain works is that you just simply don't care. You know, when you get a phone call that says, oh my God, John, this and this, somebody said this and this about you, that's the person trying to stir the pot. When your response is, okay, that's cool, whatever, that's a hell of a step up in your life and business right there. Being able to say that. Do you know who Simon Sinek is, Rudy?
Can you repeat that? Simon who?
Do you know who Simon Sinek is?
Simon, no, I can't say that I do.
I'm gonna send you something from Simon, but Simon says years ago he went to, and this is, you know, it goes to the mentality you need to have about negativity. He did 2 conferences back to back, right? He was invited to speak at the Microsoft conference, and he was invited to speak at the Apple conference, right? And this is when Microsoft and Apple were like at this war, right? They were going at it. And he said he went to the Microsoft conference, and the entire conference was about how to beat Apple. Like, truly, that's what the entire thing was about, is how do we beat Apple, right? And at the end of the conference, as a gift to Simon, they gave him the Microsoft Zoom. I don't know if you remember that, but it was like the competitor to the iPod. And Simon's like, this thing was the most beautiful piece of technology I'd ever seen in my life. The only problem was, he jokes, he says, the only problem was it didn't work with iTunes, right? And he said, so he goes, following that, he ends up at the Apple conference. He said the entire Apple conference was not about Microsoft. It was about how they can better educators. That's it. And he said, so he wanted to stir the pot. And at the end of the conference, he gets in a car with like the number 12 person at Apple, obviously still at the very top, right? And he tells this person,
Right.
he says, you know, I was at the Apple conference or at the Microsoft conference. They gave me the new Microsoft Zoom, and it is so much better than your iPhone. And you know what the guy's response was? I have no doubt. And that was it. And the reason I tell this story, and I love that story so much, is you need to surround yourself with people who inspire you, not people who drag you down. And those who drag you down, learn how to put that force field up and not allow it to attack you in the heart. Next, text Enterprise 1 to 33222 and stay tuned. If you enjoyed the conversation that we had with Rudy today, and you enjoyed our previous conversations we've had, Grant Wise on, we've had so many great people on. Rudy, I'm going to bring you back on with 2 other guests. We're going to do a 4-person panel, and we're going to get more into marketing yourselves. And we'll talk about when that day is going to be. So if those of you out there watching want to stay tuned and want to understand when we're going to do this, text Enterprise 1 to 33222. Stay tuned to be in the loop. Follow me at David Adam Kurz. There's also at New World Title, NU World Title. You can follow them on Instagram as well. And if you are not working with New World Title yet, if you are a real estate professional in anywhere that New World Title serves, reach out to me and I will give you a personal communication or contact with Rudy Hernandez. You down for that, Rudy?
Always. I need it. I want it. I desire for it. Hey, and today, Dave, just in my in finalizing, you know, my spiel today, I just want everyone to know that today was generalized and it wasn't as specific as I know many people would like. And I think that we need to spin off. And I would be honored to be a guest on that next venture. And I also feel like we definitely should do something with time management and prospecting and marketing and branding, and let's do it all.
Over the next 2 months, we're going to be really deep diving. This was an overview on the blueprint on the book that we put together. So if you were watching and you text that Enterprise 1 to 33222, I'll send you a free copy. Make sure that you were registered, and I'll give you a free copy.
Awesome.
And yes, we're absolutely going to deep dive over the next few weeks. Next week, we have a special guest on, Andy Rosas, who's going to deep dive on creating habits for success. And then we're going to get into marketing and so many other things. We're going to bring multiple guests in. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in today. Rudy, thank you for joining us today. And we got a great
Thank you for having me, man.
And we will talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Bye.